Military Brotherhood Radio presents the Beer30 Show.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining in another edition of Beer30, brought to you, of course, by Military Brotherhood Radio. Unfortunately, Jeremiah is no longer with us. He had to pursue other career types, so we wish him nothing but the best luck in the future. But to run the shows from now on with me, he's my best friend. He's been my best friend since, I want to say, 1992, 1993. Daniel, well, I call him Danny, but Daniel is a Navy veteran who recently got out, and his wife Holly, she's a veteran as well. She's Army, isn't she?
No, she's Navy, Joe.
She's Navy. Okay. All right. Well, you know, I know more about you than I actually do her, so, but that's okay. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today that's kind of irritating, and I'll get your take on it, you know, this discussion forum, is for some reason, I love Marvel Comics, and what's funny is when we started, you was trying to find your webcam, which you couldn't get started today. I saw the icon for Deadpool, the trailer of it.
Yeah, but that's DC Comics, not Marvel, but they're both one and the same for the most part, you know what I mean? You got the heroes and the villains on each side, and you know, you got other people that like Marvel and you got people that like DC, so. You
know, that's one thing that I'm kind of new. The whole Marvel comic thing I'm kind of new to. I like comics. The most popular one that I'm familiar with is, like, you know, Spider-Man, Captain America, Superman. You know, those comics.
Yeah, I mean, those types of comics are being more known now with all the Marvel movies coming out. So when this day of age, people are referencing, you know, Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, Black Widow,
right.
Hawkeye, you know, Ant-Man, all that. That's all the Marvel side. And Marvel's more well known for it just because they've had more to show out of their theatrical releases and everything. And then you got the DC side, which you have Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, so on, so on.
Now, what's the difference between the Marvel and DC, though? Because they're all created by Stan Lee, right?
No. Marvel is Stan Lee.
Okay.
DC is different. I don't know who creates DC. But, yeah, that's why you always see Stan Lee cameo in all the Marvel movies.
Okay, because the one movie that's coming out that I kind of really, really want to watch, because I've never even heard of him, is the movie Ant-Man.
Yeah, I went and saw that when the midnight showing when it came out, and Ant-Man was always one of my favorite Marvel characters because he was kind of a smart aleck and kind of related to it.
Oh, kind of like Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. he plays a pretty good smartass in that movie as well.
Oh yeah, he does, and it's the Ant-Man always had the disrespect for authority, and it was to me and some of my other friends that are big into comics and stuff like that, we really enjoyed Ant-Man. There's been a lot of negative reviews about it, but there's a lot of positive reviews, and it just depends on what you like. Just like any movie,
right?
I mean, a movie can get 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then, you know, somebody can go there and give it 100%. It's on personal preference. But Ant-Man was a very interesting movie. It was funny. It had a lot of Easter eggs in it for Marvel fans and stuff like that to see what's going on and what will be happening soon. It's one of the things I do like about the Marvel movies is that they always put the Easter eggs to kind of hint at what's going to happen in the next one.
Right.
So,
well, the only thing that I get agitated with, and maybe you can explain it to me, is like, when I think of Batman, I think of Batman with, Michael Keaton, which I'm sure the reason why they changed out Batmans and stuff is either they didn't want to play the role anymore or they were asking too much money. But the thing that aggravated me was like Penguin. Everybody knows that the Penguin from the old Batman, I mean, Danny DeVito did a great Penguin. I thought Jack Nicholson was great in Joker. Me, personally, I didn't like Heath Ledger as the Joker. I don't think it was because of him as an actor, because I think he played the Joker really good. I didn't like the makeup. I didn't like the dark side that they put in of the comic, because my thinking is the way the old Batman thinking. When I think of Joker, I think of, with the smile and, he's funny and stuff like that. And they can't come up with their originals anymore. It's almost like they're remaking everything. Like, I really got upset with Fantastic Four. Now, why are they doing a whole new Fantastic Four, like starting over? Is it because of the actors? Is it because of lawsuits? Is it because of, people wanting a different version? I mean, that's my biggest gripe.
Well, Fantastic Four, the first two didn't do that well, and that's one of the reasons why they remade it. Granted, it's kind of like a broken record. You remake it, you remake it, you remake it, and hopefully one of these times it does good. With this new Fantastic Four, it really does have potential. The problem to me is I hate it when movie producers take a comic book of what is supposed to be and then change like the origin stories or change certain aspects about it, because Susan Storm and Johnny Storm are supposed to be brother and sister.
Right.
In this movie, you have Susan Storm and Johnny Storm. I'm not sure what the last name's going to be, but one's white, one's black. They're going to play it off that one of them's adopted. And
oh wow.
And it irritates me because they're trying to appease all different aspects of culture and races and stuff like that. However, if they really want to appease a different race, why not throw it? Well, like Marvel's making Black Panther. You have so many black superheroes. You have Luke Cage. You have War Machine. You have Black Hammer, or Black Panther, Blade, Storm. Falcon, Miles Morales, who played a black Spider-Man after the original, and then
right.
You have Nick Fury. You got, all these people that can be played by a different race, and you take a brother and sister and you separate it, and it's one of the main issues I had with this movie, because I'm not sure if I want to see it just because of that. And to me, after the first two, I thought they were okay, but I've already got something envisioned what's going to happen, and now they're going to change it all up. And not only that, they changed Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is one of the primary villains for Fantastic Four. And in this, from what I understand, is that he was a blogger. And that's not what happens in the comic books. And a lot of people I've talked to, a lot of my friends with the comic book-esque background, they're not too happy with this film. They don't even care to go see it because of how much they switched it around from the comics.
And I can understand that. I mean, I've there for a long time. I was kind of boycotting the new Batman compared to the old Batman, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. They just keep changing the storyline. Exactly what you're talking about. Like, the Amazing Spider-Man compared to the Spider-Man, you know. Total different stories. I mean, it's kind of on the same principles, on the same storyline, but they kind of changed it of how he got bitten, or, you know, how he designed the spider suit. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Batman. I mean, I think of Batman nowadays more like James Bond.
Yeah.
I mean, you started, you know, you got a different actor for James Bond, you got a different actor for Batman every 2 years or so.
Right.
To me, my Batman's always gonna be Michael Keaton. And of course, you know, we lived in the '80s. We saw Batman in the theaters, so Michael Keaton's our Batman. And to the new day of age, you know, they got their own Batman. I mean, some could be Val Kilmer, the other.
Yeah, they have what I forget the guy's name, but he's the one that stars in the movie Waiting. He's gonna be the new Ben
Affleck.
Yes, he's gonna be the. Okay, so wrong movie. The Waiting. Trying to think what movie he stars in, because some people like me, they remember actors like faces. They don't really remember names. I forget what movie.
Well, Ben Affleck was in Good Will Hunting.
Okay, yeah, that's one of them.
Fargo. You had the original Daredevil movie that came out that bombed, which is one of a lot of people's biggest issues, is because they don't think he can portray a superhero again after the bomb that happened with Daredevil.
Right.
Now I would say Daredevil failed because of the script. I thought he did an okay job as Daredevil, but I mean, I wouldn't give him like high remarks. But yeah, I'm interested to see the Batman versus Superman movie, just because it's one of the big time comic rivalries is Batman and Superman. Which one's better?
Yeah, and I didn't even know that there was. I thought it was like a made up story, but I got a friend that's really into comics, Ferris, who told me, he's like, no, dude, it's part of the comic. And the other movie that's coming out, the Terror Squad, didn't even know anything about Terror Squad until this movie started coming out, and I can already tell that I'm not going to like this Joker.
Oh, the Jared Leto Joker, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, Joker's kind of like that whole James Bond thing too. I mean, what happened with Heath Ledger, it's obviously a tragedy.
Right.
I thought, like, for the Dark Knight series, you see, that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that the Batman we grew up with and the Dark Knight Batman are two different Batmans. Or two different types of Batmans. You have the Dark Knight series in the comic books, and then you have the regular Batman comic books. Well, the Dark Knight, for the Joker, I thought Heath Ledger did an outstanding job as the Joker. Batman... it was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the acting on the Batman, just because I'm used to the Michael Keaton. But with the Jared Leto Joker, I don't know, because I haven't seen the movie. I don't see how his acting ability is, and I don't know much about the guy. So I can't really say that he's going to make a good Joker until I've seen the movie.
Right.
It's kind of like the same way with Ben Affleck as Batman. I have high hopes, and I really hope I'm not let down by him, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, like, technically, I can't give the site over on the podcast or radio, but for listeners that follow our Facebook and our Twitter account, I will post it somewhere there when I post this show. But I don't go to the movies anymore. There's actually a site that you can go to, and I watch the movies 3 days after they get put out. That's one thing that's great about Beijing, is the movies come out there before they come out anywhere. And you got like subtitles or whatever at the bottom, but it's like DVD quality, Danny. And I haven't paid for a movie, and I think the last movie that I paid for was Pitch Perfect 2, and I've downloaded a lot of movies using torrents. The movie, in case you haven't seen it, because I'm a big Amy Schumer fan. Trainwreck, that was a really good movie.
Okay.
So if you get the chance, most definitely look into that. And I gave you the internet site a while back to where you can find these movies, and I go to these movies, download the torrent, and then I put it on an external hard drive, and I find that the movies that are on the external hard drive, they stay alive longer than if you burn it to a DVD, because the DVD just takes up room and it just takes up space. They get scratched, etc., etc.
Yeah, those are. I mean, I've done torrents a long time ago. I tend to stay away from them just because I prefer a movie in a theater.
Yeah.
I'm old school like that. I like to watch my movie in the theaters.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. I still like watching movies in a movie theater, but if you live anywhere like Colorado, Danny, you can't get in admission into a theater for less than $10 here.
Yeah, and
so it's pretty expensive.
It's sad the way movie tickets have gone up so much. But one thing a lot of people don't realize is not theaters that's driving the movie tickets up. It's the producers and the film companies.
Right.
The majority of the profit for a movie theater is made from their concession stands. They might get a dollar from these movie tickets that the people buy.
Huh.
And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are going there like, oh, I can't believe it's $10 for a ticket or $12 for a ticket. Well, the movie theater sees very little of that. In some cases, they don't even see any of it. But that's why the concession stands are so high. That's where the movie theaters actually make their money.
I see. So the movies aren't drove by like the actors asking for a bunch of money?
It's more the film companies.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
You learn something new every day, huh?
I'm telling you, hey, that's the reason why I created this podcast. See, the listeners think that they're learning something when they listen to this. What they don't know is not only are they learning something, but I'm learning something as well. So that's one of the reasons why I like doing the podcast is, you know, the stuff that you're talking about. Like, I didn't know there was a difference between Batman and the Black Knight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know that either. I mean, I didn't know it until one of my comic book friends told me about it. I was never huge into comic books.
Right, and I wasn't either. I think I just started getting huge when they started making the movies and stuff. But I did not know that there was Marvel Comics and there was DC. Now, Batman is in Terror Squad.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And the Terror Squad is DC. Now, explain to me again how they're different.
I'm thinking you're thinking of Suicide Squad, not Terror Squad.
Suicide Squad, not Terror Squad. My fault. I didn't even know that there was a Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad is just the villains altogether. It's kind of like, think of it as the Avengers from the Marvel side, you know.
Oh, and I love the Avengers movie, and and the last movie that I watched, the Avengers 2. It's really sad, but I think the Avengers movies are going to be at the end. I know that they're making a third one, but it sounds like they're having all different different comics.
Well, it seems like the DC is starting to start up their Justice League, which is where it begins with Batman versus Superman. Of course, the Justice League is the Avengers for DC. Now, the Suicide Squad is DC's like Justice League, but for the villains. This is kind of how it works.
Okay.
Which I believe the reason they're gonna make the Suicide Squad, or that they've made it, was because they've already had the Batman well, they had the Dark Knight series, which is kind of what they're taking off of a little bit, but you already had the new Superman movie, and now you have Batman versus Superman, which is going to be an extension from the original Superman movie that just came out.
Right.
And then in that Batman versus Superman, this is one other thing I don't like the way that DC's doing it, is that they're bringing in a lot of the superheroes for the Justice League into the Batman versus Superman. Like Wonder Woman's going to be in it. I heard Aquaman's going to have a cameo in it. A few other things going on. And that's going to be, whenever that movie's over, whatever is going to happen, nobody really knows yet, unless you're in the movie. And then you got the Suicide Squad. Well, the Suicide Squad, I believe, is coming out beforehand or right after. I have to look that up again. But that's all going to play together eventually. So, and the Suicide Squad was all the main villains of Batman and stuff like that. So you got the Joker, you got Penguin, you have all those classic villains that we know. And it's going to play a role. They're just leading it up to the Justice League, which I would say this Batman vs Superman is like a Justice League prequel. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and when you said that, Ben Affleck, he was in another comic movie. It must have been so great because I've never even heard of what you just said. So,
Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah, I never even heard of that.
Yeah, Daredevil. They have a show on Netflix now of Daredevil, and if you haven't seen the Daredevil movie, just don't even watch it and go straight to the Netflix series.
Oh, is that bad, huh?
Yeah. The Netflix series does a very good job of doing Daredevil. And I haven't heard anybody who has disliked the Netflix series yet.
Well, I don't even watch Netflix. I think Netflix is overpriced ever since they changed the whole ordeal to where you can't get unlimited streaming and a DVD delivered to your door for less than $8 a month. Once they changed that, now you have to pay for like each individual thing. I quit doing the Netflix, especially when Netflix even said themselves that they want to concentrate more on TV series than movies. I quit doing the Netflix. What I do is I buy the Amazon Prime. That's $100 for the year, and I watch the Amazon Prime instant videos. And since I'm part of Prime, I get a discount on shipping when I buy stuff. And if you don't know about it, it's called Swag Bucks. It's awesome. Swag Bucks is a program where you use your credit card, let's say, to pay your bills. And once it pays the bills, say you get like a $200 or $300 payoff. Well, then you pay that off, and then you get 200, 300 points. And then as soon as you have, I believe it's 5,000 points, well, then you can get an Amazon gift card for $50. So not only am I getting free stuff, I'm also paying, my bills with the credit card. So it's kind of a win-win. So I hardly ever buy anything nowadays in the store, in Target or Walmart. I always buy it from Amazon, and I love Amazon because you buy something from Amazon and you don't like it. One time out of the 10 times I've done this, they wanted me to send it back on my dime. The other 8 times that I complained about it, either they sent me a package and I just send it back for a refund, or like a wire harness that I bought for my vehicle to put my head unit in. I wrote them and told them that the wire harness, it was in-op, so I had to buy a new one from Best Buy, and they refunded me for the wire harness. And I'm like, you don't want me to send this back? And they're like, nah, don't worry about it. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. I totally trust it a lot more than I trust eBay. And you remember, dude, I used to be an eBay baby.
Weren't you sold on eBay?
Oh, more times than again, let me tell you. But that's interesting that, you know, that's the take with the Marvel comics and the DC comics. You know, when I went to the store the other day, I bought my first Flash, the comic, the first Flash T-shirt, which I totally think that I'm starting to wear them more because Sheldon's kind of bringing them back in style, you know, from Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
And you know, I just told because my wife's like, I never even knew that you was in the comics, and I'm like, you know, I never used to be like that into it. Now I'm even more into it. And hey, if they did the comic shirts now like they did back in when we were in high school, I probably would have bought them then also, because I love the comics. I wasn't a huge like comic reader, just for the simple fact that I'm just not very good at reading books. Even before my disability, I never hardly read books. I mean, you're talking to the guy that when we did that Great Expectation book report in Miss Sailor's class, I got an F on it because I thought I could get by just watching the damn movie.
You almost had him.
Almost, yeah. You know, and when everybody's like, oh, just buy Cliff Notes, yeah, that was a good $22 freaking waste of time. But
hey, whatever you just did, cut out sound. Did you mute yourself?
oh, you know what? I think I accidentally did. Ah, there it goes. Okay, I'm retarded. All right. Yes, I think I accidentally muted myself. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, so I'm really big into these comics, and one thing that I have on my bucket list now is I want to go to what is it? How do you pronounce it?
Comic-Con?
Huh?
Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's it. That's on my bucket list. I want to go to one of those one time, and I guess the big one is in San Diego, and they have one that's in Denver, and I looked, but I didn't see them having one anytime soon in Indiana.
Comic-Cons are normally in major cities, but San Diego's the one I know most of. I know there's one in Seattle. I would have to talk to my friend Tom Sorrell from when we were in high school, and he'd know all about that. They have like Comic-Con, they have BotCon, they have all these different types of things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have so many different types of these little cons going on and conventions, and it's amazing. It's a lot of stuff you don't know about, that I don't even know about. So it's interesting. But I would love to get to a Comic-Con myself. I've never been to one, and I really wanted to go.
Yeah. I also want to go to one as well. So right now, so that we kind of give a profile to everybody that listens to the show on a religious basis, tell us a little bit. I mean, we're running out of time, but just tell us a brief thing about yourself, Danny, and include now where you're living, because last time we talked, you was living in Tennessee, which I think that's changed now.
No, I'm still currently living in Tennessee. We have about 6 to 9 months left here because my wife still is in the military. She's a corpsman. And we don't know where we're going next. We could be going to Japan, Italy, Florida, South Carolina, or could stay in Tennessee. I don't know. It just depends. But like you were saying earlier, I was in the Navy for 10 years.
Right.
I was a Master at Arms, which for people that don't know the lingo for the Navy, it's military police. And I did that and got out, used my GI Bill, and just graduated from college not too long ago, which I'm happy about. I'm the first one in my family to graduate. So
yes, you was very quiet about that. I was pretty, I was pretty excited and really hooped for you. I didn't know that you was going to college. Of all the things that we talk about, that never came up. So I'm really proud of you on that, man. I wish I could do the college thing, but I'm still trying to get VA to push it. But when you have a brain injury, it's a little bit more catchy and a little bit more difficult, I suppose, especially if I want co-ed vocational rehab to cover that portion, because college can get expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the brain injury, I can see how it's difficult, with the injury. Obviously, it's going to have more learning disability types, and, you become a Denver Bronco fan. That kind of stuff.
Wow. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a hardcore Denver Bronco fan. I used to be a hardcore Dallas Cowboy fan, but I don't like Jerry Jones, and I'm not gonna be a fan of a team where I'm making the owner money when I can't stand the owner. One of the reasons why I don't like the Colts. Now, if the Colts ever got rid of Irsay, maybe I might learn to like the Colts, but I hate the Colts. I actually rooted for New England Patriots when they went against the Colts. That's how bad I hate the Colts. But that's on a different term. But everybody, thank you once again for tuning in. And you guys have our Facebook page and our Twitter page. If you have questions for me and Danny, feel free to write us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We try 1 week to do discussion, and then next week we try to talk to a non-profit. While I'm looking through the phone trying to find out who we interview next week, it's a non-profit, but I don't have that labeled, so I'll for sure get that. I'll for sure get that information real soon. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Beer30 Podcast. We're also on Facebook, Beer30 Podcast. Look us up. And at the end of the show, like I always say, Danny, what did you learn today?
Let me see here. I learned my kids can actually be quiet while I'm on my headset.
Yes, and I learned that if I knew that little dogs barked all the time, I probably wouldn't have got a little dog for my wife. God, I hate dogs sometimes. But anyways, once again, everybody, thanks for joining us. Tune in here on Military Brotherhood Radio every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And keep watching, and we'll keep talking. So, Everybody have a good one, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.